Hi my dear readers, this is Simona Rich, and in this video I will talk about my understanding of spirituality, because throughout my time of blogging after my deconversion from Christianity, people were interested to find out what kind of religion or spirituality form I practice at the moment. So this video is going to be about that. I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. I don't subscribe to any major religion because I find all of them are perverted from what they were originally, and they are controlled. They are businesses. They are I didn't show you. I performed my own operation. If you are subscribed, if you follow me on Facebook, you may know that I had like a bump here and I removed it with scissors. I cut it. It was basically synovial fluid inside, and I removed it myself. I didn't even have to go to the doctors, so I'm happy about that. Anyway, so I don't subscribe to any religion because I find them to be all controlled. They are just forms of businesses. Donations are very important for them, and they kind of keep the community running. But then I find that people who gather in churches or other places of worship, they have very strong egos because they think they are the ones that are right and others are their enemies. Other people are lost, other people are wrong. So I find that religions separate people. And because of this reason, I do not subscribe to any of them. They just grow egos. So people in those groups consider themselves highly spiritual and consider others as outsiders, as enemies, as not aware, and so forth. And it happens not only with religious groups. Look at veganism. Vegans consider themselves so holy, but they are so nasty to people who eat meat. So they love animals, but they hate other people. So who is better? Vegan, typical vegan who is obsessed about eating vegetables but hates other people, or people who eat meat but love each other. So I find this to be the case with religions also. They grow ego and they separate people. And as you may know, I was Christian, and I got converted into Christianity when during the period when I was very, very unstable, because my Kundalini got awakened, and it went through my crown chakra, and then it returned eventually, which I thought it to be the Holy Spirit. It is kind of the Holy Spirit, but it's in us all the time. But basically, when Kundalini awakens and leaves the crown chakra, it's like your spirit is free now. And the same experience is explained even more in detail in ancient Chinese texts, which really helped me to understand what happens. So basically, when Kundalini leaves your crown chakra, it's roaming the universe and nobody knows when it can come back. And when this happens, the person feels empty because half of themselves are not there. So they are actually supposed to be under close supervision of spiritual, very experienced people. But obviously we lost that knowledge. So people are rushing to do yoga courses, and then they awaken Kundalini, and if they are lucky or unlucky, and then if this happens to them, this final stage, and they don't have any spiritual support, then they are very, very vulnerable. So at that time, I was so vulnerable. I was so vulnerable to any kind of energies. I felt spirits, and then I understood that the God of this world is actually Jehovah, Saturn. So this is the main God of this world, and planets ruling us are real. They are in divine intelligences, and Saturn is the main one, and according to Gnostic texts, he usurped the power of other gods and wanted all the power by itself. And Saturn wrote, I believe, the books of Muslims and Christians and the Jews. And according to Christianity, if you believe in, if you worship Jehovah, if you are basically Christian, gave your life to Jesus, then after death you will go to New Jerusalem, and it's the cube. In Mecca, people worship the cube. Jerusalem dimensions is those of the cube. So you're basically trapped in some kind of space, worshiping Saturn forever and ever and ever. So upon further research, I realized that the Bible is totally manipulated. It wasn't like this from the beginning. As soon as Jesus died, there were many, many sects claiming different things about Jesus. And in the Roman Empire, it was decided what Christianity will be, and it was formed by pagans, actually. So, and I believe that the Bible is a very esoteric work, but if you don't study it diligently, you will get trapped. And actually, there is a verse, something like this: you have to study diligently. I don't remember what it says, but basically, otherwise it's not going to end well for you, or something like this. And you have to, if you are Christian, do not close your eyes to inconsistencies in the Bible, the cruelties, or anything else. Just be very, very objective and be a scholar, not only believing emotionally about the Jesus death, but be a scholar. And I wrote, I actually deleted many articles that I wrote about Christianity because I would attract Christian extremists who would leave hate messages. So I was tired of that, so I deleted many of my articles, but the best ones I could not delete. I left those were the ones that had deep research that I did. So please check out those articles if you're Christian, about whether Jesus is real God, Jesus' connection with Lucifer. Also do read my article, I don't think I deleted that one, about Judas. Not about Judas, about Paul, about the disciple Paul, and what you must know about him. So my research led me to my deconversion, and yes, Saturn is real, Jehovah is real, but do you really want to worship him? And according to the religion of the original followers of John the Baptist, Mandeans, they're called, if you do not get rid of the negative qualities of the planets, then you will be stuck in the dimension ruled by those planets after death. So Saturn is the last planet governing this prison planet, this prison world, so to speak. And the last quality, if you are really trying to improve yourself and you improve yourself to a great degree, the last quality to get, negative quality to get rid of, is the one that Saturn gives, which is selfishness. And it's extremely, extremely difficult to do so. But we cannot, basically, according to the Mandean religion, we cannot escape this world unless we shed the negative influences of planets and we escape the world in this way. And for example, the negative influence of the moon would be too much emotion, being ruled by emotions, also about obesity, overeating. Venus is also something along those lines, when people indulge too much in sweets, in pleasures of the world, too much flirting. Mercury, wise in a worldly way, wise in a bad way, using wisdom for wrong reasons, to steal, to do immoral acts. Jupiter, overdoing things, overexpanding, overeating, just overdoing things. But Jupiter is the greatest benefic. It's the planet that gives the least trouble. And let's see which ones I did not mention. So Moon, Venus, Mercury, and Jupiter. Sun would be too much pride. It's the ruler of Leo, so it's going to be you are the center of attention, all the world revolves around you, and so forth. I mentioned Saturn. I forgot about Mars. So Mars would be about aggression, about being too combative, too passionate, too driven to achieve your goals, not looking at what other people are doing, whether you're hurting other people, just totally being obsessed about your own desires. So basically we need to shed the negative influences of all the planets, and in this world all the planets influence us, and our influence, how those planets influence us can be seen in our natal charts. And the outer planets, Uranus, Neptune and Pluto, do not concern us much because they are the outer planets. It's no longer about being trapped in this prison world, so we don't even know much about them. So our concern is to transcend the negative qualities that the 7 traditional planets give us. So yes, the ruler of this world, I believe, is Saturn, is a very, very powerful deity, but I don't think it's the highest deity. But I also don't think that we should talk badly about this deity that has a lot of power in this world. And Saturn is a very difficult teacher. It's about being as selfless as possible, and it's difficult for all of us. It's very difficult. Even those people who say they're so good, they donate money to charities, but then they're evil in other ways. So it's not only about donation, but just trying to be selfish I think it's the hardest lesson ever. Even people who think they are so selfless, but then they always tell about their good deeds, that's also a form of ego. So this is the toughest lesson for humans to overcome, and that's why it's the closest to the outer world planet, guarding the final exit from this world. What else can I say about my form of spirituality? I believe that we are part of God, that everything in this world is part of God, that the reason that we experience this physical world is because God wanted to experience itself through the physical dimension in a physical way, to understand itself not only as the whole, but as multitude as well, getting to know itself through the matter by interacting with its own aspects. And this is impossible without the material world, without the duality. And I also accept duality. I accept the dark side, and because of the way that I was born, always trying to seek the truth, my natal chart made me aware that I tend to externalize the dark side in my relationships. So I kind of tend to attract guys that may have dark side, so that that's the way for me to accept it. That's just the way that I was born. So I'm attracted to those kind of people, and I did make videos about it and articles that I do. I am attracted to like bad boy archetype, and my current boyfriend is really nice, but he does have some negative character features, but I totally accept it now because I know that I cannot I basically analyzed myself, and I realized that if the guy wouldn't have those traits, I would be not interested at all, and I would just perceive the relationship as dead and boring. So I understood this about myself because of the knowledge of my natal chart, that this is just a way for me to process darkness, to accept it in my other half. And I no longer deny darkness. I no longer want to shut myself off from it. I accept it as part of life because we live in the dual world. We are always surrounded by good and bad. So I accept that. I understood that we cannot avoid that living in this physical world. And I already made a video about why I'm not supporting positivity movement, because at first it's good to be positive when you are so down and you have not achieved much in life, and you just kind of build yourself up through positivity, and you gain achievements and you start trusting yourself more. But then you kind of tend to start understanding that it's the wall that you're building around you, and it's good for you to separate yourself in such a way to grow and to heal, but then at the end you need to get rid of it, to accept reality the way that it is. So I don't deny this dark side of the world, because it definitely exists, and if we deny it, then we are not aware of half of the reality, so we can't make full, well thought out decisions in this life. And if we are disconnected from the woes of the world, how are we useful to the world? So I also, before, when I was into yoga, for example, and even when I was into Christianity, I tended to neglect the physical world, but I was just fully in doctrines of yoga or Christianity. But I'm no longer making this mistake, because we live in this world for a reason. I do believe that some of us have come into this world because this world needs people who are awakened, so that we can show the way through our own little way. So I already came into this world by questioning its nature, but then I started waking up after I moved to the UK. I don't remember the age. I guess I was like maybe 19, something like this. And from then on, I understood that my part in this world is to spiritually progress and help others to do so. So I understand that this world is a dark place, and I believe that some of us, those who are listening to this video, for example, that long, they are sent into this world to be the lights of the world. And it's not a Christian term. I'm just saying that we have more awareness. So I think that universe puts me into places where there is less light, so that in my own way, I make people find God through astrology or through telling something about their lives, and then it sometimes changes the lives of people. And I'm not trying to tell, I'm so amazing, but it's true that some of us are sent into this world to help the world, and we feel it. We are very different from the other people. Like the people that I'm dealing with at this moment, for example, most of them, yes, they are religious, but they have no spirituality in them, no light in them, and they need help. And I do feel that some of us, like some people are totally earth people and some are not. And those who are not earth people, they will never feel at home in this world, but they will question everything about this world. They will understand that it's unfairness, and they will deeply feel its darkness. But those who are of the earth, they are not like this. They totally accept it, that it's normal to have, to be dark and so forth, to do negative things. But we are in this kind of reality for a reason. So I no longer try to escape the world, but I try to understand what my part is in here. And as I said, I don't think I'm of the world. I think that I was sent here just to, in my own small way, to help this world, to spiritually progress. And those who are watching this video, I believe you are the same. Otherwise, you would be too bored to watch video as such of some lady talking about spirituality. So I feel like I know what I'm supposed to do in this life, so this keeps me at peace. I have very little desires. I have so few desires that I don't know anyone with so few desires as myself. Like, I'm happy just to be. I'm very blessed to be living in India. I love India, and I don't earn a lot of money. I earn enough to be able to live in India, but I live like in budget accommodation. But I love going to, for daily walks, evening time, looking at the sunset, looking at the ocean, seeing the greenery around me, having some meal, helping people through astrology, and I really have no desires. I'm just happy to do what I'm doing. I'm so grateful. Every morning I wake up and I thank God that I'm still alive and I can enjoy this world, my existence. And yes, there is darkness in this world. Yes, I told that, but I really enjoy my life, just the small things about it. I don't have any desire. So after the awakening of Kundalini, I no longer have desires, really. Most of the time I'm just present, enjoying this life as long as I'm able to, and seeing what it has to teach me and how I can contribute to other people to improve their lives. So I have some sore throat, sorry. So I don't define my form of spirituality in any way, but I do believe we are part of God experiencing itself in this dimension. I do believe there are many, many intelligences guiding us, and if we are living moral lives, if we are about to make some mistake, they will help us not to make it. But if we are already up to here into immoral acts, then you are alone, and you are left to do what you please. You keep gathering heavy karma, heaping upon your head, and then later in some next existence, you're going to experience full pain of that. So, like I'm asked by some of my readers why some bad people always experience good things. They just have not yet reached the reaping period. They are just sowing. And I know the guy, for example, here where I stay, who basically he's an Indian guy, and it's a common story of Indian guy seducing a Western lady. And basically she paid for him, she gave him his own business, she was the one that renovated the place, made it beautiful, attracted many customers. It's a restaurant. And then he cheated her, and then she left. So basically, because of her, he has very successful business, he's very rich, and now he's always has new girls and so forth, and he thinks that he's the winner. Well, I'm afraid now you're sowing. When the reaping period starts, you will be a wretched person. So I believe in karma, and when people are working on their lives and have already processed much of the karma, then karma will come instantly. If you're doing something bad, even little bit, and you're on a spiritual road, you're already clean. Then if you do something immoral, straight away you will get hit. You will experience some misfortune. But people who are totally earthbound, they keep doing evil things, their period of reaping has not come yet. So they might experience still good things. It doesn't matter. When that turn will come, you will never ever feel jealous of those people again. So what else can I say about my spiritual beliefs? I do want to gather community around me. I hope to do it in my place in Lithuania, but we will see. If things, God willing, I will be able to make that land near the forest into some kind of a spiritual center, and stay there. But we will see. My life is in the hands of the universe, so we will see how it will guide me. And what else can I say about my spiritual beliefs? So basically now I'm much more focusing on this earth rather than spirituality, because I no longer divorce the earth from spirituality. I believe everything is spiritual because we're all part of God, and this matter is also God. It's just God experiencing itself in the physical way. So I believe everything is sacred, and without negativity this world would not be able to exist, because it's the other side of polarity. So it's the positive and negative. So actually even the negative things are spiritual. Therefore, I don't divorce myself from it. I'm now fully in this world, but I know that this matter is not who we really are, but currently this is what we are experiencing. So we should focus on that to be able to extract all the lessons that this existence has for us. So I don't have any formal belief, so all I said was on what's on my mind about what kind of spirituality I practice and believe in. So hopefully this clarified some things about where I'm at spiritually. Thank you for watching. Take care.